Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on Superman and Lois Season 4. Now we are just 2 weeks away from the start of the third season of Superman and Lois, as well as Gotham Knights on the same night, so if you're looking forward to that, you get a double dip of goodness. And as you would expect in the lead up to a new season of just anything, we are getting more promo and interview stuff just starting to come out, and that is exactly what has happened for Superman and Lois, specifically for this video. So of course, as you would expect, we're going to go over it all. But of course, throughout the video, be sure to let me know your various thoughts in the comment section down below. Just, in regards to, how you perceive this information or just what you think of the individual pieces of promo material. Curious to hear what you guys have to say. And of course, if you want to show your support, one drop a like on the video. It takes 2 seconds. So the first thing to go over is the new post that they released for Superman and Lois, which you can see on screen right now, hopefully. And this looks really good. I really like it. It reminds me of a poster that Titans did a couple of seasons ago. Don't know if it was for season 3 or for season 2. It was one of them. Titans did a similar poster, but this Superman and Lois one looks better. I don't know if you can see it, but you have like that red beam sort of coming down, which sort of leads to a metropolis that's on fire. Now, we don't really know exactly what's happening with this season exactly, so I'm very curious to see what is exactly happening with Metropolis, whether it's like a nightmare vision that Superman's having, if it's something that's happening in reality. I'm not too sure. That's for us to wait and find out. But I do like the focus that it gives on this poster. Now, we do have the new Jonathan Kent, who's really small on the poster, but I think that maybe just shows because Jordan, obviously, you'd assume with his Superboy stuff, is just going to have more of the focus. But yeah, overall, that poster looks great. And it follows the trend of Superman and Lois having pretty damn good posters. And the next thing to mention is the new footage for Superman and Lois Season 3, but it's not a complete trailer, but it was in this like CW sizzle reel. So I'll hopefully be able to play just like, I guess, on repeat while I'm talking to you right now. And it had just a couple of different things, but the main thing is that it focused on, or not focused, but contained Superman facing off against Atom Man, as well as saving an oil rig, I think it was, from what all appears to be episode 1 of season 3, maybe episode 2, but I assume it's all episode 1 stuff. Now, just some questions from this. Atom Man can fly now? Because in season 1, all he had was like, I think he had like some grenades, and then he had like a flamethrower backpack sort of thing. But now he seems to be like superhuman and can fight Superman, which is definitely an upgrade. Now, I guess the question around this is like, is it Intergang? Is he now part of Intergang? Did Intergang bring him in and then upgrade maybe his like like his biology and like his physical standards and stuff like that? Or have they done something else? But then again, maybe it's ex-Kryptonite. I'm not exactly sure. But he is definitely like super powered now rather than just being a random guy that's walking around with a flamethrower and some grenades and causing chaos through that means. So yeah, there's a bit of an upgrade going on here. And also in this sizzle reel, it does also reveal the Court of Owls and Gotham Knights. They look pretty comic accurate. This was revealed a couple of weeks ago, I'm pretty sure. So not a massive surprise. And also Talon was in one of the trailers before that as well. So you'd assume Court of Owls, that they're going to have Talon there as well. Now, the episode 1 synopsis for Superman Lois Season 3 did come out. But from what I could tell, it was just the season 3 synopsis, like the big one that they revealed like a while ago, I guess, when the first trailer came out. I think it just gave some more clarity on the General Lane situation, which is that he's back at the DOD and he's going to be helping with Jordan's powers and stuff. And that was about it. I don't think there was anything more that synopsis dived into. So it was pretty much the same thing. So that's why I'm not really reading it out in this video. It's not really worth reading out, and it's also quite long, so just thought I'd skip it. But the next thing to go over is an interview from Screen Rant with Wole Parks, might I say, who plays John Henry Irons on Superman and Lois, about the upcoming third season, but also there was a part of it about the fate of season 4, and that was brought up, and this is what he had to say specifically about that season 4 stuff. I'm not even trying to joke around, literally. We know as much as you guys know. That is literally how fluid it is right now. Do I think we're going to get another season? Yes, if I had to put my money on it, I do think we'd get one more season at least. But I don't know. Again, it's out of my control. That's something where I just have to, as a person, just accept that life is very fluid. I know that I'll be okay regardless, and even if this somehow ends up being the last season, which I don't think it is, but if it does, I'm just happy to have been part of this process. We have amazing fans, we truly do, and they're great with the show. But for me, you guys don't get to see the day-to-day of us working together. I was literally on set with a bunch of people yesterday. We had a big family scene. I remember it was me, Tyler, and Bitsy doing a scene where I just told them in a moment of self-reflection saying, guys, I'm just so thankful to get to work with you guys because you guys make this so much fun. People don't know that it's a lot to shoot in a different country and it throws it off a little bit, but the friendships I've built on the show, I'm so happy for them. Todd Helping is amazing, and the writers, it's been a really good family unit to work with, and I'm really happy about that. Now, the interesting thing with this is that I think if there was any inkling that this was it, they would probably know. Like, so I do want to use Stargirl as an example, and you've heard all the interviews, if you're following along with when Stargirl was coming to an end, that they felt at the time that that was it. Like, they were preparing for that to be the end. By what he's saying here, it seems like when they're on set and stuff, it doesn't seem like it's the end, or they haven't have any sort of clue. You got to remember, Stargirl finished ages before there was any of this Next Star thing going on, and it was more like what happened when Next Star took control. Superman and Lois is ending in the midst of Next Star changing a lot of stuff, so they should know what's going on. Now, I've told you that I've heard some stuff behind the scenes, which seems to be backed up by other people that might be in the know as well, which is pretty interesting. I didn't really come back to that, but just randomly dropping it here, that there were some things that were probably going to end in season 3 of Superman and Lois if it does move forward, which is maybe it being set in Smallville. So I'm intrigued to see what happens, and they're not going to announce if this is it before it starts. I don't think they're going to try and, cancel out the excitement of it coming back for a season 3 premiere and downing that with the fact that it might be cancelled and might not be continuing. The issue is that it will be wrapping up filming pretty much around the exact same time that it's starting. So they would probably know maybe potentially whether they're coming back or not for a season 4 and stuff like that. So it's going to be very interesting to see like what happens in the next, I want to say 2 to 4 weeks. Because I don't know if it will be announced publicly whether it's cancelled. They might be waiting until it gets towards, I don't know, definitely the back half, but even maybe the final 3 or 4 episodes. We know there's 13 episodes this season, so they might wait until around that point. I think Stargirl was the same. I think you've got about half or 2/3 of the way through the season, and then they announced that it wasn't going to be continuing. They might do the same with Superman and Lois for the good and the bad. So they might announce around that point whether it's getting cancelled or whether it is coming back for a 4th season. It's confusing because there's been a lot of different people saying things, like James Gunn said stuff when he did his DC announcement that, oh yeah, it's probably another season or 2 in there, and then people confuse that. Well, does that could just be one more season, and that one more season is season 3, or does that mean there's more past this point of season 3? So we'll have to wait and see. I guess this is somewhat positive news. I'd actually say it is positive news because he's not saying, oh, well, I don't think it's going to keep going. He's saying, well, I think it is. So that's a good thing. And I guess that means that the character of John Henry Irons will probably continue. But then again, he might just be assuming rather than basing it off anything that he's really heard. So it's a wait and see situation, but fingers crossed. But I'm just looking forward to having the show back and just watching some Superman stuff. And the final thing to go over is actually relating to DCTV, but not specifically the CW, Superman and Lois, I guess specifically, but more the future stuff. So David Zaslav did a quarterly earnings report last week, about exactly a week ago roughly. And he was also talking about franchise rights and the big franchises that they own and, utilizing them to the most of their ability in regards to producing content as well as just making money. But he had this to say: we take that all franchises across film, TV, and even sell them to third parties because we have something. We have a treasury that no one else has. And for us, DC alone will be. It could and should be a game changer. Now, the interesting thing with this is that they had mentioned in the past that if places like your Hulu or an Amazon or a Netflix, I guess, came with an offer for Warner Brothers properties, not specifically DC, but just any sort of franchise stuff they had, they would consider each proposal. And Warner Brothers, might I say, already supplies a lot of stuff to Netflix and network television. Like a bunch of the network television stuff on CBS, NBC, Fox and stuff are Warner Brothers things. I mean, Ted Lasso airs on Apple TV. Everyone thinks it's an Apple TV specific thing that they make the entire show, but it's a Warner Brothers TV property. That's another example. I mean, they just sold Dead Boy Detectives, a DC show, and it was a show that was made for HBO Max. They've sold it to Netflix. And obviously this was because I think the reasoning is because it didn't fit in line with, I guess, the James Gunn DC thing. I guess they didn't want a confusion whether, this is part of James Gunn's new DC universe and stuff. They probably didn't want that confusion. So I guess it's going to come down to a case-by-case basis on what is happening with James Gunn and his DC vision in regards to where things go, if things can be sold. Because if he isn't planning on using a certain character, whoever that might be, you just name a random character, I guess, Warner Brothers could be like, well, Amazon wants to do something with that character. They have a pretty good idea what they can do with a show there, or maybe a movie, whatever it might be, and we can make this certain amount of money off it. it does seem like a no-brainer to let them use that character if it would just be sitting there untouched anyway, and they can just label it Elseworlds, like they're doing with a bunch of these other things that aren't going to be a part of this main DC continuity that James Gunn is building. But the days of it being a character like a Green Arrow, a Supergirl, a Flash, the Titans, or whatever it might be, even like Lucifer or something like that, or maybe not Lucifer, but, you know, characters like that where, you know, other networks could come in and use characters like that, they appear to be gone, and now the characters that would be allowed to be, you know, leased out, if you want to put it, to other streamers like Netflix or Amazon or Hulu would be like some much lower tier characters where maybe you can do a bit more exploration and creativity around those products. So that's probably the future. But yeah, that's going to be a whole wait and see. I'm not too sure exactly how things are going to play out. It's just going to be one of those things that will develop over time. It just depends what James Gunn wants to do with certain characters. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome. You could drop a like on it to show support. Let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions and all the stuff we went over in this video. Always curious to hear what you guys have to say. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.